Okay, so in this example, we have 4/10 times 4/10, or 4/10 of 4/10. So this orange part right here is showing 4/10. Okay, we are going to take 4/10 of that orange part. Okay, if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts there, and we're taking 4/10 of that orange part. This is our answer. Okay, that is 1600ths. Okay, if you think about 4 times 4, which is 16, and you have your decimal points in there, they're going to go 2 spots to the left because that's how many you have in your factors. That's how many decimal place value positions you have in your factors. So 4/10 times 4/10 is 1600ths. Okay. If you get to the next level on today's IXL, you are going to have some that are greater than a whole. So let me try to get an example of that to come up. So this would be 1600ths. Okay, you're looking for the part where the colors overlap because you're taking a part of a part. Oh Lord, here we go. Okay. The ones that have 5/10 or a half really show exactly what we're talking about here. So this grid shows 5/10 times 9/10. I can say I'm taking half of 9/10. So what color is represented by 9/10 in this grid? So I started with pink and orange. Okay. My 2 original colors were pink and orange. Which color is 9/10? Pink. Okay. The pink portion is 9/10. So once I shade in 9/10, which is all of this pink section, if you can imagine the purple not being there right now, okay, all of that pink section is 9/10, and I'm taking half of that. I'm taking, let me see. So this was the 9/10, okay, and I'm taking half of that. So that purple part right there, half of that is my answer. Okay. So if the pink part was 9/10 or 90/100ths, half of 90 is 45. So we have 5 times 9, which is 45. But this is really 5/10 and this is really 9/10. So we have 2 places after our decimals and we need to move them back this way. Okay, so that overlapping part is our answer. Whoopsies. There we go. So we would have 4500ths for that one. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at, I'm going to skip ahead to see if we can get one that's more than one whole. Here we go. Okay. So I've got 1 3/10 times 3/10. Okay. My 1 3/10 is this part in orange. This part in orange is 1 3/10. Okay. So imagine that blue not being there right now. I shaded in all of that orange, and I'm taking 3/10 of that orange part. So I'm going to go with my purple. Okay, they took the purple and they went 1, 2, 3. They're taking 3/10 of that. Okay, now their purple extends all the way out here, but we're not counting this part here. we're just counting the part that overlaps. So this part in blue is your 3/10 of the 1 3/10. This is your part of your parts. Now, when you go to count this, you can say 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 hundredths. 39 hundredths, or if you think about multiplying 13 times 3, or 1 3/10 times 3/10, that looks like this. 13 times 3 gives us 39. And put our decimal points back in, there and there. And we would scoot them over 1, 2 times. And that would be your answer. Okay? So you have to get to an 80 on your IXL today. So if you are okay with just looking at the numbers and multiplying and moving the decimal point, that's fine. But you should be familiar with this model because that is part of our curriculum or our SOLs. You have to be able to look at a model and, say what is the math sentence. Let me give you one to practice with here. Let's say that I have this. I'm going to highlight two things here. And then I want you to tell me what would be the math sentence that matches this. Okay, so what would be the math sentence that matches this model? And I'm going to write blank times blank equals blank. What would be my math sentence that would go in there? So think about the two colors that I used originally. Okay, the two colors that I used originally are your two factors. The color that intersects the two colors is the answer. Okay, so you can start with the yellow or you can start with the teal. Doesn't really matter which one you start with. So what would be the number represented by the yellow highlight? Anybody? 3/10. Okay, so we could say 3/10. And then what was represented by the teal highlight? 5/10. Try again. 4/10. Okay, so 3/10 times 4/10 equals, my answer is in green. 12 hundredths. 12 hundredths. And so we would write that like this. Okay. Oops. 12 hundredths. Okay. So we started with the yellow, which was 3/10, and we took 1, 2, 3, 4/10 of that yellow part. Okay. Yes. Yes, no. Okay. All right. All right. I will let you guys get started on your work.